35%. PDP APC clash as Biden hails Buhari. Diaspora Nigerians to renew passports on arrival. You can also find, just by the logo of the Punch, 407 billion naira debt. Adenike vows probe. Oyetola's aide slams governor. Banks run out of new naira. Demand soars. This is the major story on the Punch this morning. There are writers to that says cashiers ration new notes. Lenders allot 100,000 naira per teller in banks. Suspicious customers snub new notes as local traders reject new currency. Court declines to stop CBN withdrawal policy. Emefiele meets reps Tuesday. And also on the Punch, you find fire. You find a picture of fire outbreak somewhere in Ibadan, Akpata to be precise, just yesterday. Tanker fire rocks Oyo community, destroys property. Tearful relatives, friends send Sami Okposo home. Seriki's death, shocking. Buhari, Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu mourn. And that's by the Red Corner. And finally, on the Punch this morning, EFCC protest as Ekweremadu blames commission for detention.
And from Daily Trust, we have recovered over 30 billion naira from suspended AGF EFCC chairman. Kano cleric Abdul Jabbar to die by hanging for blasphemy. Ganduje ready to sign Abdul Jabbar's death warrant. That's Kano government. One killed, 17 injured in Anambra road accident. Refocus family planning discussion. Monarch, don't campaign on our pulpit. NKST wants politicians. Some more from Daily Trust. How trauma of insecurity would deter IDPs from voting in 2023. Motorists express relief as Buhari opened second Niger Bridge. National Assembly clerk Buhari Lawan orders urged to wade into crisis. My Facebook account has been hacked. Faleke raises alarm. France partners Kaduna government to implement first BRT project. Court dismisses suit seeking Tinubu's disqualification.
And moving to the Vanguard this morning, you would find the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku, has promised to dredge the river Niger. And also, Omwageye takes campaign to Shekiri waterways, says time to liberate Delta is now. 2023, stop influx of thugs to rivers. Sikibo tells IGP, DSS, Obasanjo, Oshibajo, Adeshina, others for BBHS centenary. Pengasan blames downstream operators for petrol shortages, hiking prices. Excitement as federal government opens second Niger Bridge to traffic. Ensure credible polls. Nothing can, tells federal government. NNPC board chair Buhari replies. Moving away from that, we can find lady killed as train crushes car in Abuja. Blasphemy. Kano cleric Abdul Jabbar sentenced to death by hanging. 2023 federal government states budget 19.16 trillion naira on salaries, pension, others. And two more stories, and we move to another paper. Organ harvesting. EFCC responsible for my ordeal in UK. Ekweremadu tells court. And finally, Atiku, Kwakwanso, Obi, Tinubu promising Nigerians everything.
And from Premium Times newspaper, you have this headline here. Drama as Kano court sentences Islamic cleric to death for blasphemy. Okay, Nnamdi Kano speaks on attacks, killings in southeast. Benue faces healthcare crisis after government scraps doctors' placement program. Nigeria inflation rises for 10th straight month to 21.47%. Fuel scarcity. Petroleum marketers in Ogun threaten to shut down outlets over SSS threat. The Senate asks CBN to reconsider cash withdrawal policy. Intrigue. As top Boche APC leader snubs own party's candidate, endorses PDP's candidate. Some more from Premium Times. I am stepping on stone. I'm a stepping stone to Igbo presidency. That's Atiku there on 2023. Reps ask federal government to relocate FMC from Buhari's hometown. EFCC arraigns governor's nephew for 10 billion naira fraud. EFCC secures 3,615 convictions in 2022. Bawa.
And my first story from the Daily Post this morning, 2023, Soludo believes I'll work if elected president. Atiku, 2023 election, Northern Christians interested in region's unity. CAN chairman. 2023 again, Nnamdi Kanu Simon Ekpa battle for soul of IPOB. You can also find on the Daily Post. Woman dies as train collides with car in Abuja. Governor Ungwai presents 166.603 billion naira 2023 budget estimates. Kwara, NSCDC arrests alleged robbery suspect. 2023, Ondo INEC takes delivery of 3,933 beavers. Two more Ekiti lawmakers return, withdraw from suit against Assembly. Petrol tanker loses control, bursts into flames in Ibadan. 83,000 Boko Haram fighters surrender. And still on the Daily Post, Senate set to legislate on Nigeria's economic diversification framework. I'll take two more stories. The FCC case, Yahaya Bello's nephew, Kogi Kashia, sent to prison over alleged 10 billion naira fraud. And finally, on the Daily Post, Labour Party queries Kogi State Chairman Escos over poor reception at Obi's rally. And we move to our first commercial break. We'll be back.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
My people are hello. Now better levels are carrying land on automatic bossa. Globe Festival of Joy promo.
This one the helele price galore. For take make life soft from Globe.
Stadium web bracket the price them yet. Tanda gidi ba for win.
20 brand new house.
24 chacha new cars.
100 generators.
200 sewing machine. 1,000 rechargeable fan.
And 1,000 upon 1,000 other price them day.
Just dial star 611 hash to enter and win inside the Globe Festival of Joy promo. Buy up to 20,000 naira data. Your luck fish shine to win brand new house. If you cost you recharge or low data when cost from 500 naira go reach 10,000 naira every month, week or every day. New or Charaka plus other fantabulous price them feel land your hand here.
You said you on top bicycle they sleep.
Make you dial star 611 hash now to enter and win. Terms and conditions there.
Unlimited.
Wakanao Travel Fest is back, and it's a showdown all through November. Enjoy unbeatable travel deals on flights, hotels, visas, and holiday packages. Visit www.wakanao.com now to get these amazing deals, or visit our travel centers at Bond Mall, Ventura Mall, and Base 1 Plaza, Ring Road, Ibadan. Ladies and gentlemen, the showdown is here. Wakanao, let's go.
Wow! Knowing you're running on is one thing, going for it is another. That is why you're enjoined not to settle for less when you can actually win big and flex as you like on VetsWGB.com. Oh yes, VetsWGB.com is a win-win platform that puts smile on your face whenever you bet on it. Repackaged and renewed for unlimited market options, highest odds, unmatched accumulated bonus, beautiful event selection, unbeatable in-play cash out, simplified access, fantastic user interface with an array of products like sports bets, slot, virtual soccer, roulette, lucky balls, and lots more, alongside mouth-watering bonuses. See what I mean? VetsWGB.com is still the wise choice.
One man knows Nigeria, understands the people, and knows how to get Nigeria back on the road to growth. His capacity to navigate numerous industries towards growth and expansion is tested and trusted. No one needs to show Atiku Abubakar how to move Nigeria forward through challenges and unto greatness. He already has a sure plan. A strategist, an entrepreneur, and job creator. Atiku Abubakar knows Nigeria, knows our people, and knows the work. Atiku, for sure.
Sponsored by the PDP Presidential Campaign Council.
Oto, ṣé mo ṣe dáadáa?
Ìyá mi ẹ ṣe dáadáa. Èmi náà fẹ́ di eléré orí ìtàgé bíi ti yín.
Ọmọ mi ní ẹ̀bùn ọpọlọ. Torí ẹ̀ ni mo ṣe máa ń tì lẹ́yìn nípa mímú lọ wo àpéjọ àwọn òṣèré.
Ọmọ yín gbìyànjú.
Mo máa ń ràn lọ́wọ́ lórí àkọwò rẹ̀.
Ẹ forí balẹ̀ fún ìdá mi.
Ò káre, Twisco ni mo máa ń fún un. Kára ẹ̀ lè jí pépé.
Máàmi, wọ́n ti mú mi fẹ́rẹ́ náà.
Àsìkò tèmi náà rèé láti fi yangàn fún àwọn ọmọ rẹ ní Twisco láti ṣe àtìlẹ́yìn èròǹgbà wọn. Twisco fún un lágbára láti mérò ọkàn rẹ̀ ṣẹ.
Dabbo na the first and ogbonge herbal toothpaste. E get ingredients like lemon, mint, ginger, and basil wey dey make our teeth kakaraka.
Madam Rose, na true you talk o. Dabbo na the cocoa herbal punch wey get plenty natural herbs. Dabbo, the cocoa choice for my family.
Christ Mercy International Church presents 21 days powerful revival. Níbi tí Ọlọ́run ti ṣetán láti lo àwọn òjíṣẹ́ rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àkórí ìtọ́dún yìí. Igi gbígbẹ́ léyìí. Ògì gbígbẹ́nu ayé wa ni ó yè láṣẹ Èdùmàrè. Tí yóò sì mọ wáyé ní gbogbo aago 5 di aago 8 àṣálẹ́ ọjọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti 1st of December to 21st of December nínú ọdún tá a wà yìí. Prophet Mayowa Moses Fèyíjì àti ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run bíi Prophet Olúfẹ́mi Òní, Prophet Paul Ademodi, Apostle Olúwaṣẹ́gun Olúwaṣọgbọ́n, Prophet Adésọjí Ọ̀nàbánjọ, Apostle Elijah Olúṣọlá, Prophet Augustine Ogena, Prophet Paul Àrólé Jésù, Prophet Ṣẹ́gun George, Prophet Samuel Olúdáre, tó fi mọ́ Prophet Isaac Yàyíọlá, pẹ̀lú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ olórin ẹ̀mí bíi Akíntúndé Ìlàjà Ọlọ́run ò sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹnìtàn Olúṣẹ́gun Bámidélé EOB, Bọ́sẹ̀ Super àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Gbogbo nínú gbọ̀ngàn àjọ wa tó wà ní number 35 Adamoleko Street beside Butterlight Bread, Ìmọ̀lẹ́ Fálàfíà Òkè Àdó Ìbàdàn. 08077309381. Jésù dúdì yóò. Shalom.
My people are hello. Now better levels are carrying land on automatic bosa. Globe Festival of Joy promo.
This one na helele price galore. Protect make life soft from glow.
Stadium where bracket the price them nyete. Tanda gidigba for win.
20 brand new house.
24 Chacha new cars.
100 generators.
200 sewing machine. 1,000 rechargeable fan.
And 1,000 upon 1,000 other price them day.
Just dial *611# to enter and win inside the Globe Festival of Joy promo. Buy up to 20,000 naira data. Your luck fish shine to win brand new house. If you cost the recharge or load data when cost from 500 naira go reach 10,000 naira every month, week or every day. New or Charaka plus other fantabulous price them feel land your hand here.
You say don't top bicycle they sleep.
Make you dial *611# now to enter and win. Terms and conditions there.
Glow Unlimited. 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back. It's a beautiful Friday morning, and it's the edition of the Papers Review, 32 FM 94.9. I'm Olutayo Ogunade once again, and of course, Adenike Ademuwagun is here. Good morning, Adenike, once again.
Good morning, Professor Jed. Good morning.
Yeah, top of the day to you.
Top of the day. Yes. So the redesigned Naira note has been officially introduced into the market. It is now in circulation, and people have had a lot to say. Some people say it's so light in terms of paper weight. I hear some artisans are even rejecting it because they don't recognize it as the legal tender. Have you handled it yet? Have you seen it yet?
I certainly haven't seen it. I've seen it obviously on the pages of the social media and the news, but not in reality. I asked yesterday, I went to one of the restaurants and asked if they had seen it, and somebody said, yes, we've seen 1,000. But I guess maybe the education, what do you call the National Orientation Agency? I'm not sure they've done a good job in educating the artisans because, of course, many of them are going to be reticent in seeing this. In fact, some of them will think it's just paper from some of the reports that you've given. But having said that, I think the die is cast. That's the way we're going, and it's probably going to put a lot of people out of their sink. In other words, there are a lot of people who have stored money, and they still haven't been able to change it, either because the money is rotting away or for some logistic reasons. Maybe they are not even in the country. Can you imagine somebody being abroad? Maybe he's facing some charges, and in his village somewhere he has tons and tons of money, which nobody knows where it is. If he doesn't come back before, is it January? Is it end of January? I don't remember the deadline. If it doesn't come back before the deadline, then that money is gone and it's gone forever. But at least it's going to give the government a better handle on the money supply, the control. My worry is that they're controlling the money that people can withdraw at this stage. The transfer policy and the new cashless policy hasn't taken effect yet. So I think people should be able to withdraw as much as they want within legal limits, of course.
Banks are already struggling with the request or demand from the public on the supply of this cash, and I'm just beginning to wonder. I hope on my year want to do my load there's a little,
Well, my suspicion again is that the cashless policy, which will soon come into effect, that some people may be trying to edge their bets and trying to protect themselves, by storing this money here and there, so that when the cashless policy comes into being, they are not caught napping. I think that would be counterproductive in itself, but that might be a reason that is happening. The central bank needs to investigate this and needs to ensure that we have access to this money. At least those of us that just spend 5,000 a day, at least let's have access to it.
All right, 134.3 billion naira, $121 million recovered by EFCC in 10 months. That's according to the chairman. And of course, some huge sum also recovered from the AGF. What are we doing with some of these recovered funds?
Well, this money, when it's recovered, should normally just go back into the Federation account, except if it's determined that it came from an amount which has been appropriated. If it has been appropriated, then of course it goes back to where it was stolen from. But if not, then of course it has to go back into Federation account. The government always says they use it for poverty alleviation and so on and so forth. That's the easy one to say, because poverty alleviation, you are not really able to determine the impact, the real impact of that. In the past, they said some of it has gone to Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and some infrastructural projects, and we've discovered in the past that some of this is double funding that actually has been covered by previous budget allocations from that point of view. But I think such amounts, you understand, my own view has always been very radical. If such amount is stolen from, say, a particular local government or whatever, I'm not suggesting local governments are havens for stolen money, then it should go back there. It should be felt in the impact from where it is stolen from.
That was said that President Buhari had directed that the recovered funds be deployed to critical projects across the country. Some time ago, we suggested, all right, so if you were able to recover some money from a particular, criminal in the country, name the project. Just let's have the tag on it.
Absolutely.
Abacha loot.
Absolutely.
Then who's this AGF guy? Just AGF, loot, something like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a radical way to do it. After all, when you fund projects from all this TED fund or whatever, you know where the money is coming from. So in the same similar vein, I agree with you that the stolen fund should be linked to particular projects and should be named, it's a name and shamed, but it should be named certainly so that people know and are able to assess, measure the impact of where these funds go to. There's no point coming to report to us, you've recovered this, and yet there's nothing that comes forth. My other concern also is that apart from the low-level petty criminals, AFCC has not had much success in the conviction of the top criminals, those that are high-value criminals, if I may say. And of course, that's where the real theft and the real damage is done. So EFCC needs to demonstrate to us that no matter your status, no matter where you come from, no matter who you are, if you're caught stealing, then you'll be prosecuted, and of course, you will go to jail.
Okay, still speaking of the EFCC, Kwere Madu is in the news and he's accused the EFCC of being responsible for his travels in London. He claims that the EFCC, the EFCC had something to do with the court order and that he's asking for, would I say, some time out before the forfeiture of his properties and all of that. And the EFCC has replied the governor, the former deputy Senate president, that they are saying that they are not behind his bail refusal by the United Kingdom authorities.
I'm not aware that on the court on record that the FCC made any appearance or that they submitted any evidence to that effect. Ikweremedu, of course, has been locked away for some time, and that, of course, might cloud is a sense of perception from that point of view. But it's quite clear that EFCC has had him in their sights for some time. And, of course, he needs to respond to EFCC's affidavit and their claims.
He's saying he cannot respond now because he's in...
Because he's in jail, yes. And, of course, EFCC, if they are going to be fair to him, maybe they will give him an opportunity at some time. But can they wait forever? What if he's jailed? Are they going to wait till the end of his term of imprisonment? I'm not suggesting he's guilty. I'm just saying that's the reality. So I think through his lawyers, he should be able to brief lawyers. The United Kingdom allows you to have visits from your lawyer. So you should be able to brief them and brief them accordingly. And they should be able to go to EFCC and respond on his behalf. So I don't think his being in jail stops him from responding through his lawyers.
So, according to him, and I quote, EFCC fraudulently obtained the forfeiture order for government by concealing information that investigation on the 40 properties started as far back as 2008. And he alleges that the EFCC was fully aware that he was in detention in London when application for forfeiture of the properties was filed and argued.
Yes, but again, that's why he needs his lawyer to either appeal the whatever decision that's been made, in response to that, or to get an injunction to stop the FCC from going ahead with the forfeiture. So I think, yes, he's right to make those claims if he believes them, but he's also right to engage his lawyer and instruct his lawyer and allow his lawyer to do that. It's being in jail, as I said before, does not debar him from putting up a robust defense. It doesn't necessarily have to be there. He can even submit an affidavit through his lawyer.
Now, the World Bank has said that Nigeria is in a worsening situation with economic performance becoming weaker as inflation persists.
Well, if you look at the inflation rate, if you look at United Kingdom, we have 6.1. If you look at United States, we have 7.1. If you look at Nigeria, I think we are 19.1 or thereabouts.
Well, over 20 now.
Yes, over 20. Yes, it was 19, it's over 20. So thanks for that additional information. So if you see, we are more than double from that point of view. And there's no economy worth its salt that can maintain such inflation rate. Because what does it mean? It means that the Naira, your currency, loses its value on a regular basis. You can't plan. If you plan a project today, then you know that that project is going to overshoot, because by the time you get into the middle of the project, the costs have risen astronomically. And therefore, what a lot of people tend to do is they tend to hedge their bets, not in Naira, but in other currencies that are more stable. And that doesn't bode the economy very, very well. So, yes, World Bank is very, very concerned because it raises poverty level. And, of course, it raises uncertainty in the economy.
Now, poverty, inflation may not soon be something really, it's not a death sentence, as it were, but when you know there is a way or a model to, easing yourself out of it eventually, what are we doing to ensure that we stem inflation rate in this country?
Well, the central bank has raised the interest rate to about 15% or 15.5%. And the problem with that is that while you can use interest rate to combat it, what it does also is that it also contracts the economy, because it means that, yes, the savers get more, in quote, but those that are investing, you understand, are not able to borrow, or they borrow at unsustainable levels. One of the ways of reducing inflation, of course, is also to look at your expenditure. If you're spending too much money, and if there's too much money in the supply, then it affects, of course, the cost of goods. Because the basic economic theory is that inflation is too much money chasing too few goods. We need to raise production. We need to ensure that money is not oversupplied. And I think that's what CBN is also trying to do in terms of this so-called cashless policy and so on and so forth. So yes, the government is trying its best, but if we do not raise our stakes in terms of production, we will continue to have our inflation, and of course, that's an issue.
And there's really nothing to cushion the effects. Our economy is highly vulnerable to shocks.
It's highly vulnerable to shocks because it's mono, isn't it? It's just one, really. I mean, even though we've been diversifying and it's been increasing year by year, but really, petroleum is still the major source of our foreign exchange and of our revenue, you understand? Progress has been made. We must give this government some kudos, but it's not enough to cushion us.
Progress?
Well, progress in terms of diversification of, for instance, oil at a point in time used to be 80 or so, is now about 70. So there is progress. There are minerals that are being, exported. The other things that are being exported.
But according to this report, from January this year to October, about 5 million Nigerians have been driven into extreme poverty.
Yes, that's going to happen because really, first and foremost, employment levels have gone up. So, of course, that has a direct impact. Of course, government expenditure is curtailed because the same amount of money spent last year, if you spend this year, will get you few. It will get you much less from that point of view. But my concern is not this present government. This present government has about 5-6 months. My concern are those campaigning now. What's their roadmap? What's their plan of action? From that point of view, it's all right. Central bank deals with the monetary policy, but monetary policy must go in tandem with fiscal policy. Right. And part of the issues that we have is that the monetary policy sometimes doesn't go in tandem with fiscal policy. The Emefiele is very activist. You criticize him for all what you may, but in terms of fiscal policy, not much is happening there. We only have one policy that seems to be on play, which is to borrow, and to borrow.
Well, by the way, Nigeria's inflation now stands at 21.47%.
Yes, 21.4. It's quite high, very high and unsustainable.
Okay, NPA Nimasa are charging oil marketers in dollars. This is coming from the rep. A member of the Petroleum Committee in the House of Representatives, Segios Ogun, has disclosed how petroleum product marketers pay for logistics services in dollars, despite that the federal government has prohibited local transactions in foreign currency. Some of the internal problems are now starting to come into light. Do we have no regulators?
Oh, we have regulators, but you see, the economic reality is that people don't want to trade in naira. Why? Because of the uncertainty of naira. They trade in dollars because it's easy to repatriate, but also that you get certainty in terms of your expenses, your profit margin, and so on and so forth. Well, yes, you said the right thing. The regulators should intervene, and they should clamp down on them from that point of view. But people will continue to find ways to evade it, except we can stabilize the naira.
Okay. Moving away from that, we are monitoring politicians' spending in 2023. This is coming from the Daily Post, and the EFCC saying that they're being careful not to invite some people who are spending recklessly in order not to be misconstrued as political witch hunting. So it means that they know them by name and title, but they do not want to name and shame.
Well, I don't see why they should name and shame. If they have the evidence, then they should name and shame. I think they're running away from their responsibilities, escaping their responsibilities. If for fear of being claimed to be partisan, they refuse to do their job. Their job is prescribed by statute. If there are people that are spending beyond limits, if there are people that are violating the law, my view is call them out and produce the evidence. The evidence will point to whether you're being partisan or whether you're simply being frivolous in the way you're pursuing them.
Why is the government so secretive as regards certain things? It seems like they keep covering up so many things.
Well, you don't throw stones if you're living in a glass house, do you? You don't at all.
It's enough to ask, though.
Well, it's enough to ask. But what I'm trying to say basically is that the people concerned are in government and out of government. So we're not saying it's limited to a particular political party. And of course, if you yourself are implicated, then you don't want to open a can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the issue.
Yes, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
There was panic yesterday when a tanker conveying petrol skidded off the road and rammed into shops at Akpata, Ibadan, Oyo State. News gathered that residential buildings, shops, cars, and a filling station were burnt in Inferno, which started around 7 p.m.
Yes, that's unfortunate. I think we have too many tanker accidents, and I think the problem is, some people have suggested, like in places like China, where tankers are only allowed certain routes and allowed certain times to travel. In Nigeria, it's all seasons. They travel through the narrow roads, they travel all the time, and sometimes that causes problems. But more importantly, because of, I don't know, is it greed or is it poverty? Some of these tankers are not serviced regularly, and the people that should be monitoring them, the VIOs or the FRSC, and sometimes, are unable to curtail them. We must give kudos. I know some people will not be happy with me, to Oyo State government through, is it Oitima or something? They regularly, even though they go more for infractions, for traffic infraction, but regularly, where near I live, they regularly impound trailers, petrol tankers, and so on and so forth. And I think there needs to be more activism in terms of law enforcement. You
can also use the opportunity to charge the public to be careful.
Yes.
This is Harmattan, the air is dry.
Yes.
And so we tend to have a lot of, fire incidences at this time of the year.
Yes. Obviously, people need to be aware of that, especially those that store highly inflammable liquids, because shortage of petrol and so on and so forth. You need to be very clear. Store them in places that are safe, or don't even store them at all.
Now, men of the Ogun State Police Command have arrested a 49-year-old Ganiyu Shina for allegedly bathing with blood at a community in Odeda local government area of the state.
Well, I don't really see the problem if it's his own blood, you understand? And yes, but obviously it can't be his own blood. It must be blood from somewhere. And of course, that's a crime. To have pints of blood and to be bathing it means that the person is probably dead, from that point of view. So, of course, it has to be investigated. To me, it's obscene. To me, it's despicable. But, you begin to wonder what exactly is going on from that point of view. So, of course, the man should be arrested, apprehended, and let's hope that nobody is dead as a result of that action.
Yeah, but Bill Gates, Elon Musk, them had to do all of this.
No, it's this fetish kind of attitude. The fetish kind of attitude that you can just do something metaphysical, and before you know it, your fortunes are transformed. The best way in which your fortunes are transformed is to have a business plan. You understand, to have feasibility studies, to do the hard work, and to put in your innovation and to have inspiration. That's the best way to make quick money.
Yeah. Also, although he said he had some spiritual problems and that herbalist instructed him to perform the ritual.
Yeah. But they do it having a self-interest, of course. I'm sure they would have got loads and loads of money for that despicable act.
Let's go on another commercial break. We will be back.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
ẹ̀yin tèmi àtún ti gbèdé o lójú ẹsẹ̀ tó ń gbóná fẹ́lí ìfilọ́lẹ̀ Glow Festival of Joy.
ayẹyẹ tó yílẹ̀ ayé yẹn padà látọwọ́ Glow ní.
gbàgede tó kún fún àwọn ẹ̀bùn jàǹkànjàǹkàn fún jíjẹ.
ilé tuntun lọ́nà ogún.
ọkọ̀ tuntun mẹ́rìnlélógún.
ẹ̀rọ ọgọ́rùn kan tó ń pèsè iná.
ẹ̀rọ ìrọṣọ ọgọ́rùn méjì. ẹ̀rọ afọ́tẹ́gùn tó ń gbaná sára ẹgbẹ̀rún kan.
àtàwọn ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ẹgbẹ̀rún ẹ̀bùn tó ká màmá.
ṣé àti tẹ *611# láti darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn kó o sì jẹ nínú ìfilọ́lẹ̀ Glow Festival of Joy. ra dátà tí ó tó ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ọgọ́rùn-ún náírà lásìkò ìfilọ́lẹ̀ yìí. ó dẹ̀ lè jẹ̀bú ilé tó o bá dẹ̀ ra ìwé ìpè tàbí dátà láti ọgọ́rùn-ún márùn-ún sí ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá náírà lóṣooṣù lọ́sẹ̀ẹsẹ̀ àbí lójoojúmọ́. wà ní àǹfààní àti jẹ ẹ̀bùn ọkọ̀ ayọ́kẹ́lẹ́ tuntun kan pẹ̀lú ẹ̀bùn tó ká mọ̀mọ́.
má lọ jókòó tẹ̀tẹ̀rẹ̀ má nà gẹ̀rẹ̀.
tẹ *611# ní báyìí láti darapọ̀ kó o dẹ̀ máa jẹ lọ àdéhùn àti àsọtẹ́lẹ̀ ó ń bẹ o.
Glow Unlimited.
God bless Nigeria. Live, work, and study in Canada, United Kingdom, Ireland, Cyprus, South Africa, and India. Become a permanent resident of Canada. Best country to live. Work in the United Kingdom as a skilled worker, a health worker, a caregiver, and enjoy a family life in the UK. Start your 2023 migration travel and tour plan now through NTT Go Abroad. Register for your visa process now at nttgoabroad.com and NTT Go Abroad app with 50% discount at Online Dynamics Limited, 4th floor, Cocoa House, Dugbe, Ibadan, and Stallion Hillside, Jericho, Ibadan, and collect your Christmas gift instantly. Migration, travels, and tours. NTT Go Abroad. Integrity, expertise, and experience. 0810-273-8145. NTT Go Abroad. Powered by Online Dynamics Limited. Registration closes December 16th.
We wish you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Crossover sí 2023 òróró Olutayo lọ́lọ́run Sáàmù Olúwa ló máa dà lé ọ lórí.
orílẹ̀ tí Jésù ti jí sí àmì àti ìyanu ojúkorojú yẹn Ademuwagun Jesus City la máa gbàrí kọjá sí 2023 nínú pàdé májẹ̀mú ọlọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta àgbáyípo láti Friday 30 December di Sunday 1st January 2023 bàbá Ademuwagun Prophet Sáàmù Olúwa Ọlọ́run ti sọ fún bàbá láti dá òróró ojú rere lé gbogbo èèyàn lórí anointing for excellence Ọlọ́run sọ pé gbogbo ẹni máa farahàn òun máa bá wọn dá májẹ̀mú títayọ fún ìrìn àjò 2023 o ọ̀pọ̀ wòlíì májẹ̀mú Jésù máa lọ bísí aláwìyé àlùkò Olúwa ló ní bísí àwọn ló máa léwájú olórin ẹ̀mí Prophet Sáàmù Olúwa bàbá Ademuwagun wọ́n á máa dòróró títayọ lé gbogbo èèyàn lórí ààyè wọn náà wọn kánsẹ́lì tó máa wà wákàtí nínú àdúrà máa jọ CSC Ademuwagun Jesus City ìbẹ̀jùlẹ̀ kí ẹgbẹ́ expressway ìlàmìjà village aláró city làwọn ti pàdé ìwọ ló máa sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀rí eléyìí gbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
Kids Twisco to support their big dreams.
Twisco, power your dream.
I go follow the man ways, I be the road. I go follow the man ways, I be the walk. I go follow the man way go unite the people. Unify. I go follow the man way go rescue the nation. I go vote Atiku, Mr. Unifier. I don't articulate. I don't articulate. I don't articulate.
PD
APC Presidential Campaign Council sponsor this message.
Everybody won't connect to something greater. Connect to the moment, the winning goal, to history. Una fit do am now. Watch a FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 on Showmax Pro. Oh yeah now. Stream all 64 matches of the World Cup live from Super Sport on Showmax. Experience every game, anywhere, on up to 2 devices. It is available in HD and 4K also. It joke. Almost sign up now at showmax.com.
ẹ̀yin tèmi àtún ti gbèdé o lójú ẹsẹ̀ tó ń gbóná fẹ́ni ìfilọ́lẹ̀ Glow Festival of Joy.
ayẹyẹ tó yílẹ̀ ayé yẹn padà látọwọ́ Glow ni.
gbàgede tó kún fún àwọn ẹ̀bùn jàǹkànjàǹkàn fún jíjẹ.
ilé tuntun lọ́nà ogún.
ọkọ̀ tuntun mẹ́rìnlélógún.
ẹ̀rọ ọgọ́rùn-ún kan tó ń pèsè iná.
ẹ̀rọ ìrọṣọ ọgọ́rùn-ún méjì. ẹ̀rọ afátẹ́gùn tó ń gbaná sára ẹgbẹ̀rún kan.
àtàwọn ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ẹgbẹ̀rún ẹ̀bùn tó ká màmá.
ṣé àti tẹ *611# láti darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn kó o sì jẹ nínú ìfilọ́lẹ̀ Glow Festival of Joy. ra dátà tí ó tó ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ọgọ́rùn-ún náírà lásìkò ìfilọ́lẹ̀ yìí. ó dẹ̀ lè jẹ̀bú ilé tó o bá dẹ̀ ra ìwé ìpè tàbí dátà láti ọgọ́rùn-ún márùn-ún sí ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá náírà lóṣooṣù lọ́sẹ̀ẹsẹ̀ àbí lójoojúmọ́. wà ní àǹfààní àti jẹ ẹ̀bùn ọkọ̀ ayọ́kẹ́lẹ́ tuntun kan pẹ̀lú ẹ̀bùn tó ká mọ̀mọ́.
má lọ jókòó tẹ̀tẹ̀rẹ̀ má nà gẹ̀rẹ̀.
tẹ *611# ní báyìí láti darapọ̀ kó o dẹ̀ máa jẹ lọ àdéhùn àti àsọtẹ́lẹ̀ ó ń bẹ o.
Glow Unlimited. 32 FM 94.9.
And you're welcome back. 0705 5949 and 0809 7949. Those are the numbers to call this morning. We're also live on Facebook at 32FM 949 Ibadan. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Professor Godu.
Thank you.
Honestly, I don't just understand why people are still living in that poverty in this country. This huge amount of money that have been recovered from the later. This problem of people living in that poverty is start from this administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. That is the truth of the matter. Why is this more escalated than the past administration? This administration doesn't understand the problem. And you cannot solve the problem you don't really understand. The night the passion with many.
009 7949 0809 7949. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Challenge this morning. Only 30 billion naira recovered from the former accountant general of the Federation. Out of 50 billion naira he was alleged. I don't want to use allegation now because the matter was brought to the court. He pleaded not guilty. At the end of the day, he was pleading for plea bargaining, which means he was guilty of the charge. So 30 billion naira, what of the landed property? The landed property or housing or whatever thing he must have used that profit to be ought to be forfeited to the federal government. That is when I know that yes, it is right. He's actually doing his work. I'm John Newton Joko. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Facebook, Olutayo Oluwarotimi says the CBN policy is crippling small businesses. There are ways of handling bandits and kidnappers and those storing money at home without this severe policy. And by the way, not every money can pass through the formal economy. There's also the informal economy in every economy. All right, 0705 5949 and 0809 7949.
God forbid that a person be admitted to an emergency ward in our government hospitals where usually a person might have to pay a lot of money or a lot more in excess of 20,000 naira. I think he's talking about the withdrawal limit policy.
But I think transfers are supposed to take care of that. I mean, of course, there might be some charges if it runs higher. Then when they're talking about informal economy, in most economies, advanced economies in the world, what they try to do is capture the informal economy, because the only way you can tax it is by being formalized. The black market economy cannot be monitored, cannot be taxed, and of course the government cannot benefit from it, and every government wants to benefit from it. I realize that this will cause initial problems, but I think in the long term it's going to pay for us. It's going to pay for itself, and it's going to help Nigerians.
All right, for Balkis and Odron Kojumo, the new CBN withdrawal cap is sensible from an economic standpoint, but it is not pro-business, particularly for POS marketers. People who live in rural areas without a cashless system worry me as well. That's from Balkis and Odron. 009 7000 949 0705 5000 949.
Raja Hafiz Abidimi says, good morning, Olutayo and Adenike. On the issue of redesign Naira notes, which not many in circulation, honestly, it is part of the policy CBN design. They don't want more notes in circulation to curb inflation. Kidnapping, vote buying in Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. All right. Omotayo Oluwarotimi says, education, in mind education, there are multiple levels of dimensional thinking apart from the first dimensional one. It is those that remain in the first dimensional thinking that follows their thoughts and think they should do something weird to get riches. Hello. Good morning.
These POS operators, they are agents of bank. Bank can give them money. And another thing, people should leave our grandpa and grandma in the village alone. We have children all over Nigeria that transfer money to them. They know how to get their money. It is an excuse that no network in the villages. But now we want to transfer an election. There was network. Because of our social life, I'm very sorry. I have to make this my personal opinion. There's no noise from the north because of this cashless policy. It is our own social life that's giving us problems. Have a nice time. God bless you. God bless Nigeria.
Just to say that the POS thrive on volume. And I think the concern for most POS operators is that they are no longer going to get the volume. But I've observed many of those POS people, and not many people withdraw more than 10, 5, 15, 20. So I'm wondering where the actual problem is.
All right, it's not so much about us alone, just like the caller there said.
Yes.
The INT'L members have been asked to go register or open a bank accounts. They keep money in bush.
Yes. And so that's
homes.
Yes. And so that's our advantage.
We need some orientation here.
Yes,
it's not just
Yes.
For us, it can be cultural to maybe spend money when you are being praised and all that. But it also happens in other places too.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, Omoade Adekunle says the cashless policy by the CBN is a very good one and can be effective in a system that is working well, especially in a digital economy where there is stable network connection. But here in Nigeria, many businesses will be affected because majority of the local traders are illiterate. Even many of them are non-bank users. How can we make over 20,000 Naira transaction with the local traders that are non-bank users where the inflation rate is soaring up to unbearable? It's quite long. They should make a policy that will strengthen our Naira and curb the inflation rate.
I think the suggestion of some people is that good policy, but increase according to inflation the amount concerned. So track inflation and increase it accordingly. From that point of view,
you do not feel that if it's increased, for example, to 50,000, some people will still complain?
Of course, they will always complain, but at least it will address some of the concerns of people saying transactions are too small or too little or whatever the case might be.
And Emefiele couldn't appear before the lawmakers yesterday.
Well, it shows the urgency in which he is taking this. I think he has more pressing business elsewhere. But I would have thought that addressing the representatives of the people is the most urgent and most pressing business that the governor should have at this time.
On the entourage of Mr. President.
He need not be on any entourage of anybody. He is an independent governor of the central bank. He is not a political appendage of the president. So I don't know what purpose he's serving by being on Mr. President's entourage. I don't know.
Okay, it's time for us to go. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. The Break of Dawn paper review returns tomorrow. I am Adenike Ademuwagun.
I'm Olutayo Ogunade. Prof, thank you for showing up.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the guest analyst and do